Friends, yesterday I started talking about as it was in the days of Noah and as it was in the days of Lot. After about 6 minutes, my video camera stopped on me. So I'm picking up where I left off so that you understand as it was in the days of Noah and as it was in the days of Lot. I want to give you a little history. The first 6 minutes, I put that on Gary and Rue and the Torah channel, but I had to cut it down, edit it down a little bit because when it ended, I was saying something and you couldn't understand what I was saying. So I edited down about 5 minutes or 3 seconds on Gary and Rue, and 5 minutes and 41 seconds on the Torah channel. So friends, I'm here to pick up where Wahe showed me from yesterday. Friends, I want to give you a little more history on Noah. I want you to turn to Bereshit chapter 6. Bereshit in Hebrew is Genesis. We're going to go through some Hebrew words too after we study this, and after I tell you what Wahe has shown me about what's going on in these last days, in the days that we're living in right now. Go with me, Bereshit chapter 6, verse 5 through 7. It says, Wahe saw the people on earth were very wicked. All the imaginings of their hearts were always of evil only. Wahe regretted that he had made humankind on the earth. It grieved his heart. Wahe said, I will wipe out humankind whom I have created from the whole earth. And not only human beings, but animals, creeping things, and birds in the air, for I regret I ever made them. Verse 8. But Noah found grace in the sight of Wahe. By the way, if you hear chickens crowing, I'm outside and it's a rooster. It's about 1 or 2 o'clock here in Kentucky. Friends, I want to talk to you today about as it was in the days of Noah. You can see, as it was in the days of Noah, it was wicked. It was wicked in Noah's days, friends. And let me tell you something. Who was saved out of all the people on the earth? Noah and his family and his sons. Noah and his family were there were 8 souls. There were 8 people. They were the only ones that were saved off the earth because Noah found grace in the sight of Wahe. That's why Wahe saved Noah, because he found grace in the sight of Wahe. Friends, I'm here to tell you, when you are living on this earth as Wahe's children, and you're doing right in the sight of Wahe will protect you as well. If you are doing what the Torah says, if you're doing what Wahe tells you to do, then let me tell you something, he will protect you the same way he did, he protected Noah and Lot. Friends, I'm here to tell you, here Noah was in the midst of a wicked place. It was so wicked. It took him about 100 years to build the ark, according to scriptures. And let me tell you something, friends. I'm here to tell you that it was a wicked place that Noah was living in. And this is what y'all said about Noah, though. It says, but Noah, this is verse 8 of Bereshit chapter 6, but Noah found grace in the sight of Wahe. Are you doing what you are supposed to today? Are Torah? Are you keeping the mitzvahs of Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh? In a little bit, I'll show you that Yeshua wants you to obey the mitzvahs of Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh. So, stay tuned to that. Friends, I'm here to tell you that Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh wants you to obey his mitzvahs and commands in the Torah. Okay, go with me to Bereshit chapter 19. Bereshit chapter 19, verse 4 through 15. 4 through 15. And this is what it says. Bereshit in Hebrew is Genesis. Bereshit chapter 19. But Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, but before they would go to bed, the men of the city surrounded the house, young and old, everyone from every neighborhood of Sodom. They called Lot and said to him, "Where are the men who came to stay with you tonight? Bring them out to us. We want to have sex with them." Lot went out to them and stood in the doorway, closing the door behind him, and said, "Please, my brethren, don't do such a wicked thing. Look, here, I have 2 daughters who are virgins. Please let me bring them out to you, and you can do with them what seems good." What seems good to you. But don't do anything to these men, since they are guests in my house. "Stand back," they replied. "This guy came to live here, and now he's decided to play judge. For that will deal worse with you than with them." He decided, then with them. Then they crowded in on Lot in order to get close enough to break down the door. But the men inside reached out their hands, brought Lot into the house. To them and shut the door. Then they struck the men at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they couldn't find the doorway. The men said to Lot, "Do you have any people here besides yourself? Whomever you have in the city, son-in-law, your sons, your daughters, bring them out of this place, because we are going to destroy it." Because Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh became aware of the great outcry against them, and Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh has sent us to destroy it. Lot went out and spoke with his sons-in-law, who had married his daughters, and said, "Get up and leave this place, because Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh is going to destroy the city." But his sons-in-law didn't take him seriously. Did you hear that, friends? Lot warned his sons-in-law, but this is what it says. But his sons-in-law didn't take him seriously. What do you think happened to those who didn't listen to Lot? They perished along with Sodom and Gomorrah, because they didn't listen to Lot. It says, but his sons-in-law didn't take him seriously. They didn't take him seriously. Here Lot warned his sons-in-law, told him to get out. Y'all's going to destroy this place. They didn't take him seriously, friends. When Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh tells you something, when he warns you, listen to him and take everything that Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh tells you seriously. close your ears, or you may wind up like Lot's sons-in-law, destroyed along with Sodom and Gomorrah. When morning came, I'm going to read Bereshit chapter 19, verse 15 through 20. 15 through 20. Bereshit in Hebrew is Genesis. When morning came, the angels told Lot, hurry. Lot told Lot to hurry. Get up, they said, and take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here. Otherwise, you will be swept away in the punishment of the city. But he died. So the men took hold of his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters. Yudhe was being merciful to him, and led him, leaving them outside the city. When they had brought them out, he said, flee for your life. Don't look behind you, and don't stop anywhere in the plain, but escape to the hills, otherwise you will be swept away. Lot said to them, please, no, my Elohim, here your servant has already found favor in your sight, and you have shown me even greater mercy by saving my life. But I can't escape to the hills, because I'm afraid the disaster will overtake me, and I will die. Look, there's a town nearby to flee to, and it's a small one. Please let me escape there. Isn't it just a small one? And that way I will stay alive. Verse 21. He replied, all right, I agree to what you have asked. I will overthrow the city of which you have spoken. Now here Yah told Lot to get out, and Yah had to take Lot by the hands of his family, of Lot and his family, and lead him out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Let me tell you something, friends. When Yah tells you to go out of a place, to flee that place, for he's going to destroy it, you better listen to him. Because Lot's sons-in-law didn't take him seriously. It says, but his sons-in-law didn't take him seriously, and they perished with Sodom and Gomorrah, friends. They are no longer here ever again, because they perished along with Sodom and Gomorrah, friends. Friends, I'm here to tell you, and also Lot's wife, Yah told every one of them, don't look back. And what did Lot's wife do? She looked back. She looked back. Go with me to Luke chapter 17. Luke chapter 17. This Luke chapter 17 lines up with the Torah, friends. I don't read anything out of the New Testament, which is the renewed covenant, that don't line up with the Torah. If it lines up with the Torah, I will read it. I will pay attention to it. But if it does not line up with the Torah, I won't listen to it. Because the Torah is the gospel of Yeshua HaMashiach. What did Yeshua preach and teach when he came on this earth? In a few moments after I finish this up, I will show you that Yeshua came preaching and teaching the Torah and the prophets. I will show you that. I won't just say that. I will prove it to you in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 through 19. Go with me to Luke chapter 17. Luke chapter 17, verse 26 through 32. 26 through 32. This is what it says. Also at the time of the Son of Man, it will be just as it was at the last time of Noah. People ate and drank, and men and women married, right up until the day Noah entered the ark. Then the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, as it was in the time of Lot, people ate and drank, bought and sold, planted and built. but the day of Lot, Sodom, fire and sulfur rained down from heaven and destroyed them all. That is how it will be on the day the Son of Man is revealed. On that day, if someone on the roof with his belongings in his house, he must not go down to take them away. Similarly, if someone is in the field, he must not turn back. Remember Lot's wife. That's Luke 17:32. Luke 17 verse 32. Remember Lot's wife. That's a statement right there, friends. Remember Lot's wife. That was Luke chapter 17, 26 through 32. Remember Lot's wife. Don't look back, friends. Because if you look back, you might perish along with them. So when TORAH tells you to go forward and don't look back, friends. Don't look back. I'm here to tell you today, don't look back. I'm here to tell you that TORAH wants you to obey his teachings and instructions. Friends, now I'm gonna get to proving to you that Yeshua came preaching and teaching the Torah, and he didn't do away with it, and it ain't done away with today. I'm gonna prove that to you. Go with me to Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 through 19. If you have a King James version, it will leave in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 through 19. It will say law, but the correct word is Torah. Torah, not law, Torah. And he didn't do away with the Torah, and I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove it to you right now that he didn't do the Torah. And I'm also going to read you some scriptures in the New Testament with the Torah from out of the pages of the Torah. I'm going to read you scriptures in the New Testament right out of the Torah, so that you can get so that you can realize that the Torah's not done away with. If it was done away with, there would be no mention of the Torah in the New Testament, which is the renewed covenant. There'd be no need, because it's done away with. It was done away, but it's not done away with. That's a lie. The Torah is not done away with. Not done away with. And here, Matthew in Hebrew is Matthew. Turn to Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 through 19, and this is what it says. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 through 19. I'll give you a few minutes I'll give you a few seconds to find it. Let me just tell you that the Torah is not done away with, friends. And if you've got a King James Version Bible or any other version Bible besides the Hebrew Bible, it will say in the King James Version Bible, law. That is not the correct word. The correct word is Torah. Torah. This is what it says. Don't think that I have come to abolish the Torah or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to complete. Yes, indeed, I tell you that until heaven and earth pass away, not so much as a yod or a stroke will pass from the Torah. Not until everything that must happen has happened. So whoever disobeys the least of these mitzvot and teaches others to do so will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever obeys them and so teaches will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So you see, this is Yeshua speaking now. Yeshua is saying, don't think that I've come to abolish the Torah or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to complete. To show you that proof that the Torah is written in the New Testament, which is the New Covenant, and it's supposed to be written throughout the New Testament, because when the Talmudim, which is the came preaching and teaching, they come teaching the Torah, where the scriptures in the Torah had come to pass about the Messiah. Go with me to Matthew chapter 4, verses 10. Actually, that's backing up a chapter. Excuse me. Matthew chapter 4, verses 10. And this is what Yeshua said to Satan when he told him to bow down and worship him. This is what Yeshua said to Satan. I'm going to read Matthew chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. 9 and 10. That way you get the idea. And said to him, all this I will give to you. All this I will give you if you will bow down and worship me. This is what Yeshua said in verse 10. Away with you, Satan. Yeshua told him, for the Torah says, worship Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, your Yah, and serve him only. Worship, excuse me, worship Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, your Father, and serve only him. Now, worship Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, your Yah, and serve only him can be found in the book of Exodus. Smoke in Hebrew is Exodus. Exodus chapter 20, verses 1. Also, it can be found in Devarim chapter 5. Devarim in Hebrew. Read Exodus chapter 20, 1 through 3. And then in Devarim, which is Deuteronomy in Hebrew, chapter 5, verses 1 through 3. Friends, I'm here to tell you, Yeshua has never been done with the Torah. As you very well see there, he's not done with the Torah. The Torah's not done away with, friends. I'm here to tell you that Yeshua is the Messiah, the Kadesh one of Israel. Friends, I just want to thank you for joining us here today. I wanted to come to you today and show you the Torah, to show you that as it was in the days of Lot, and as it was in that days of Noah, we're living in those days right now, friends. You can see wickedness going on all around us. Wickedness like never before. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm not here to lie to you. Y'all bless you. May Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh bless you and keep you. May Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh lift up his countenance upon you and give you shalom. Amen.